Hey everyone, Grant Sims at Chief River, talking security. Today, I'm going to kind of be breaking down a depiction I made of a security process. I was asked a question around if you came into an environment and I asked you to, get security under control as a security architect, how would you go about doing that? And I really broke it up into an initial plan and then a reoccurring plan that was coupled with, in a maturity example. So just to quickly walk through it, from an initial standpoint, I think it's super critical to understand the business. You need to understand where money's being spent. You need to understanding what's the, keys to the kingdom for the business as far as what makes money, what's the mission, etc. You need to do some data discovery up front, working off of that business understanding. You need to then understand the application and infrastructure that supports that business and supports that data. And then network posture exposure. Where and how are those things exposed? Do you still live in a very contained environment where maybe there's only a few public entry points, or are you very much a SaaS or public provider where you have lots of internet accessible endpoints? Then you really need to look at your IT owners and ask them, do some querying of them. What do you guys, what risks have you seen? And I really left that to a later stage just to, not put bias into those first couple processes there. And then data and networking posture, quick wins and executions. Looking at if you are one of those environments that has a lot of publicly exposed things, are there some quick wins that you can focus on with networking? And then, after you might find some quick wins, there might not be any. You might have to just skip that step and go straight to identity. But if there are, let's get those in place. And then if not, centralize identity. Let's work on, getting rid of disparate identities, centralizing those, federating where you can, etc. And then we'll focus on some authorization, discovery, and remediation there. Now, understand that's a lot. I packed a lot in there, but I want to just point out that really focused on these aspects for the things that are widely available to bad guys, to the internet, these services. So looking at those public endpoints, and then get some centralized logging going, and then we kind of move into the reoccurring. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can kind of go along the circle here. And what I want to really harp on is that we're constantly updating our inventory. We're constantly updating our risk registry so that we know what's important now, and we're constantly updating and reflecting on our policies that we have set. This is loosely based off of the CIS 18 aspects there. Some are broken up a little bit differently, like networking basics compared to networking advanced. But I got a large question, or I got hit up multiple times about why did you focus on network posture over here and then central identity? And then over here, as you can see in my wheel, I put identity very much up in the front with networking coming later. And that really goes to your business understanding. These quick wins over here, like I said, this step might have been skipped if there wasn't any risk there, large risk. But it really, all of these things, in my opinion, are based off the level of effort and the risk reduction. For instance, if you have a root account and it is everywhere and it's being used by 100 different systems and you're not really sure where that credential is stored, it's going to be really hard to focus on the identity and control that aspect with speed. So instead, maybe you put conditional access. Maybe you put conditional access on your root account to only come from a certain network where your data center is, and that you might not know where all the credentials are being used, but they're all funneling out of your data center. And you can put conditional access on that. So that's just an example of how maybe a network posture quick win could really help you kind of slow things down to focus on what may be more important, like identity. And with that, like I said, the level of effort might be very small, but if we can at least contain that blast radius to only allowing your root credential to come from a known source like your data centers, your on-prem data centers, then that'll buy you some time to really focus on the important thing, which is getting your identities under control. And then last but not least, just saying that each one of these has a maturity, and these are just some examples over here of a maturity for one of these blocks. And these can be debated. It really goes back to your business understanding. And also, I'm going to reiterate the level of effort conversation. If the level of effort is small, but the risk reduction is high, that might manipulate your maturity for your company. So these are not something static. These are not something that you can use for every organization, but they're a compass. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully, it broke down kind of the initial plan, a reoccurring plan, mapping that also to a maturity so you can understand your growth. And then, like I said, constantly updating your inventory, risk registry, and policy. And also, the debate of, trying to get in some quick wins with network to reduce blast radius while focusing on some things that are more fundamental and have more overall risk reduction like identity. Once again, Grant Sims, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them. And thank you for your time.